Like always, today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors: gluten-free diet water, premium junk clothing, Williamson wines, Good Dudes coffee. Gluten-free diet water. Stay hydrated with a refreshing twist. Perfect for those health-conscious listeners. Premium junk clothing. For those who love to express their unique style with high-quality fashion pieces. Visit premiumjunkclothing.com and use code EverydayGSD15 at checkout. Williamson Wine, natural artisan wine from Napa and Sonoma. Good Dudes Coffee, veteran owned by former Navy SEAL Josh Bridges. Every cup is brewed with passion and dedication to quality. Visit their website at gooddudescoffee.com and use discount code EverydayGSD10 for an exclusive offer. And also, don't forget to visit the Everyday GSD store at DarinBibeau.com for all your official Everyday GSD merchandise. And now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Everyday GSD podcast. Today's special guest, Aaron Boggs. Did I do a good twang in there?
You did. Yeah,
nice.
Eastern Kentucky proud.
Eastern Kentucky proud. Okay, I'm going to do a quick little bio on you, and then we're going to just jump into it because you are an extremely successful individual who has been everyday GSDing for a long time, and I'm thankful that you made the trip over.
Thank you for having us.
For being on the show. So I'm excited for the listeners to hear about your story. But first, let me just do a quick bio, because I think if I got into too much detail, then there'd be no story for you to tell. So I'm just going to go through a few things here. You're the founder of Infinite CXO. You're a seasoned entrepreneur, business leader. You're known for exceptional vision and strategic acumen, remarkable track record of success. You've played a pivotal role in shaping the growth of successful multiple organizations. Formerly the co-founder and president of RevLocal, a leading digital marketing agency that you sold for quite a bit of money. Again, you're the founder of Infinite CXO, which is a business transition firm, but you sold that to Loud.
We did,
correct?
Yep, recently,
and then you're the CEO and founder of Loud Collective.
That's correct.
Okay,
We're current day.
Perfect. I'm winning. Okay. You're committed to leveraging your wealth and experience and expertise to help companies navigate complex business landscapes, overcoming obstacles, and realizing their growth ambitions. 2020, you were awarded the Smart50 Executive Award for Columbus, Ohio, being recognized as one of the top executives. 2021, Aaron, you were nominated as a finalist for the executive for Google and Duke University for the National Humor Award.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Well, it's for using.
It was one good joke.
It was for using the power of optimism in your personality that led to the winning culture. Okay, you have a beautiful wife named Liz, and you've been married for 22 years, and you have 3 amazing daughters. And lastly, you're a car enthusiast.
I am very much so, and I saw your Porsche.
I love it. I love it. So let's just jump into it, Aaron. What got you wanting to be in the entrepreneurial world as a kid? You grew up in Kentucky, in Southern Kentucky, or Ohio?
No, Central Ohio.
Okay.
All the families from Eastern Kentucky. And
okay.
So was born and raised in a trailer park.
Okay. And this is in Ohio?
This is in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was grandfather claused in. So my mom and dad were the next youngest in this whole place.
Okay.
So at the age of 4, I'm sitting on the porch drinking coffee with people that are retired, living in a trailer park. And I just gained an immense amount of wisdom from them. I ran away from home a couple times to the mailboxes.
Yeah.
I was found there and just grew up. But
were you good in school?
Yes, but I didn't put it.
You didn't try.
I didn't try. No,
right.
I didn't. It came natural, and so I was probably a little bit too lazy. I think in college I got a little bit better and cared a little bit more, but then I was working full time.
Right.
So I was 45 hours at a local manufacturing facility going to college full time.
What were you guys manufacturing?
So I worked for a brake company called TRW that sold to General Motors and Daimler Chrysler, and then ended up going to Detroit and working in the summer in special projects and worked on the Hummer brake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you were doing that, were you thinking about the business world, or were you thinking, hey, I like this engineering type of stuff?
I cannot remember a moment where I wasn't thinking about business.
Okay.
Even when I was young.
Right.
When I'm setting up a lemonade stand at the trailer park.
I was just going to say, what's your earliest story of business?
Setting the lemonade stand. And I had a younger brother, and I thought, how can I get him to do the work and make money off him.
Right.
And then how can I set up other lemonade stands and get these people that are sitting on their porches?
You were already expanding.
Yes. And I understand, I understood profit
Right.
and loss.
Yeah.
And so how could I get multiple? Then I was a paper boy. I think it's amazing how many people have done paper routes.
Right.
Did the paper route in the trailer park.
Justin,
Yeah.
Justin, producer of the show, was a paper boy.
And then I learned that if you did a really good job, they would tip you. And so I was attracted to the extra money of cash. And then you start to learn, how to be super nice to these older ladies in the trailer park. And you're like, hey, do you remember that last month you gave me $5 tip? That was really nice. You know what I did with that? I was able to really expand my enterprise, and I want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the service I'm providing. And here comes $10. So, the entrepreneurial affliction started at probably age 3.
Right. I love it. And did you get that from your family or no?
I would say that there's 2 things that I can remember specifically. Number one, my mom was 17 when I was born. She was 16 and 20 days old when she married my dad. And so I grew up with a very young parents. I remember my mom's 21st birthday. And I had an amazing upbringing with her.
You remembered her 21st birthday.
I remember.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Yeah.
You were like 6 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that crazy? Think about that.
Yeah. But my mom wasn't able to finish high school. So I remember her going back and getting her GED, and she wanted to build a career after she kind of raised me and my brother. And she had something inside of her that she wanted to let out. Today, she's a very successful insurance agent, and she just cares about people. But she would mow grass for people in the trailer park for quarters.
Right.
And just cared about people. We were always working. My dad worked at a local factory. And so I remember thinking, understanding how that we were making it and the money that was coming in, how could I do things differently?
Right.
And just seeing how that they were growing, because I was so close to their growth.
Right.
Right. And
it's like an older brother or older sister.
Well, when I graduated high school, my mom was 34.
Yeah.
It's just like seeing their life grow and them mature. It just gave me a different, a unique access to how businesses run and how things could be different.
Right. So so you're growing up in the trailer park and you're going to school and you're not really trying. You're not putting the full effort into your education, but you're doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And you're doing little side fun businesses.
Always
as a kid.
working.
Always working. At what point did you leave the trailer park, and was it going to college, or at what point did you move on and you saw something different?
So the way that you just asked that question, I've been dealing with that a lot lately. I don't know that I ever left a trailer park.
Okay.
I can specifically remember when the bus would stop, and as I got older, that it was interesting to me that the kids were now identifying me differently than them socially. And
like meaning that's a kid from the trailer park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they use those words that, I think are still embedded in me, which is he is trailer park trash.
Okay.
That created a fire in me.
Yeah.
To compete, and I leveraged business in my life as that platform to show that I was different, and that was not a thing that separated us in life. And so when you say, when did I leave the trailer park? I don't know that I have.
Right.
I think the trailer park's still in me, and I'm trying to.
Do you own a trailer park?
I know, not yet.
He's like, I own like 25 trailer parks
Right,
all over Ohio.
No, I'd go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Better profits. But I think there's an underdog mentality based on a lot of the things that we face in our youth that's embedded in us. And, they can be assets and they can be liabilities.
Right.
We can use them for good, or we can allow them to challenge us, or we're defeated, or we're victims, right? And so the trailer park means something very positive to me in my life. And I look for people that are worthy of that edge in their life to assist them.
Right.
And so we left. I left the trailer park and went to. We built a house down the road when I was in high school. And so
okay,
we were successful enough to get our own place. And,
right.
and move out of the trailer park. And then I went to college. And
where did you go to college?
Mount Vernon Nazarene University. It was a school nearby. My dad's factory had hired me as summer help, and I worked really, really hard. And I was going to go to school for accounting, and they offered me a position in the accounting department, and I worked full time all the way through college. And they ended up helping to pay for my college.
Right. And that was because of your work ethic.
Definitely, yeah. My first job at the factory was where they took the brakes and they would mill it out, and there's these metal shavings that would come out.
Right.
And I remember, like, Corey Moore was the big football player, and he and I were good friends, and he was a fullback, just a massive human being in high school. And they said, crawl in that machine and beat out the shavings and come out with the shavings, because we're going to shut this machine down, and you guys need to do that really fast. We went in with steel pipes and beat out the shavings. There were 6 that started that day. Corey and I are the only ones that made it to noon. So,
yeah, because people were like, I'm not putting this work in.
No, they were done.
Yeah.
They were done. I think about that moment and the willingness to take that on, and it was kind of a ridiculous request, but we're like, we're going to take this ridiculous request on and do this.
And just do it. Do you think they were testing you?
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah, well, my dad worked there, so these were his buddies.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to beat this kid down. We're going to see what he's worth. And we come out, and we look like we've been in a coal mine. Black, just like sweating.
Yeah, dirty,
blood rolling.
Yeah.
And it was like we were ready. We were going to do this.
And how old are you about this time?
18.
And you remember that story like it was yesterday.
I do, because it shaped my life.
Yeah.
Like I went from there to working in the accounting department of this manufacturing facility at 18. And 4 years later, I graduated. I already had 4 years of accounting experience. And I was just blown away the competition, because I was in business already.
Right.
And it was because I was willing to do that hard thing. And I think obviously in your life, you have so many stories like that where you've faced these insurmountable opportunities and things that are tough, but you just do it. Right. You just get it. You just get it done.
You have to.
But your life is shaped because you're willing to do it.
Right.
Like when Corey and I see each other, we just immediately we go back to that moment. We were in that machine together.
Yeah.
Doing this crazy.
And what does he do today?
He was a cop.
Okay. Yeah. Protect and serve.
He is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a big guy?
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, huge.
He had this car. It was called the Jacket Cruiser. And so he dressed it up like the colors of the football team. And, and he was always cruising around town in the Jacket Cruiser. And so a lot of fun memories.
So college is a local college because you're able to work full time. Yeah. So you graduate college.
Yeah.
I'm assuming at this point, because you're working full time and you're pretty much paying for your college as you go, so you're not in a lot of college debt.
I graduated with cash in the bank.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I could see that, when you understand financial leverage at a very young age, and you understand the compounding value that you're creating, you start to roll a ball down the hill, and your buddies are talking about the way they're spending their money, and you start to recognize that the rest of my life is going to be changed by the decisions I make today.
Right.
And I think that in business, it's no different. So many businesses, they don't know how to leverage their cash flow. They don't know how to build sustainable value. But those that are really good at it, it starts a compounding value. And, that's why I got into marketing. I was so excited about marketing.
So at what point did you start the marketing company?
So that would have been...
And it's digital marketing. I want to make sure I say that right. And that was the name of that was RevLocal.
Yeah. So
okay.
So from TRW, I went to a little company called Rolls-Royce. And I worked for Rolls-Royce Aerospace, and had an immense amount of opportunity there. Sir John Rose was the CEO of the company, and I'm working my tail off. I'm working for this guy named Gordon Teitler. Nobody wants to work for this guy. And I loved it. Yeah, Microsoft is coming out with Excel and PowerPoint for the first time. I'm figuring out how to do macros and make motion, and I'm telling stories off this, and I'm traveling around the world with Gordon Teitler, And the next thing you know,
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
22?
22.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of the youngest financial controllers in the history of Rolls-Royce, just gathering every kind of experience that I can. And they started a thing called Early Career High Potential at Rolls-Royce.
Early
Career High Potential. And so this would have been early 2000s. These corporations are wanting to invest in their younger people to create better retention, to groom them to be executives. And so Sir John Rose starts this thing called Early Career High Potential, and I get nominated. They pick 20 people across the globe that are under 30 years old.
20 people.
20 people. And we start working on special projects. 20 people under 30 across the globe, and we are handpicked by Sir John Rose as the Early Career High Potential, and we're working on special projects. So we take the jet engine, and we try to figure out how to use water current to create power generation for municipalities. We're working on oil and gas pipelines. We're taking the jet engines, pushing oil.
And you're 22 years old.
23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I learned about the fuel cell technology. And so worked a little bit on that. That would have been 2003. And I'm just gathering all the information and experience that I can as they're grooming me to be an executive and traveling around the world. It was just a crazy, crazy time.
Did you feel as though when they're grooming you that you'd have to have loyalty to stay with them?
That's the greatest question you can ask.
It's kind of my job right now.
It's crazy. So, well, I mean, being where you've been,
right?
You have to go all in.
Yeah.
And I think that I knew that one day that I was going to jump off that, and I wanted to do more entrepreneurial things.
Right.
And so the brand becomes your identity. And I think for businesses, as business owners, our businesses are our identity. But Rolls-Royce was expecting, I was going to have to go to Australia, and I was on a 2-year development cycle. I was going to have to move around the world, and
you were okay with that at the time. But then you start thinking about it's like that's going to be tough for the family.
Yeah. Well, you have kids.
Yeah.
And you hold your daughter for the first time, and you don't want to be an absentee father. So I tried to capture all the experience that I could from a company like Rolls-Royce, and then my wife worked with a computer company, and I got to know the owner of that, and knew that he had an aspiration of building something bigger. And so through that, he and his brother, we started RevLocal.
That's the one you co-founded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Had done some work.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I'd done some work with Google, and you could see this is that moment in time in which we're learning how to type things in to our phone on Google for the first time.
Right.
Google's not a profitable company. There's this company called Overture, which was before them. And so it's growing. We're learning search, but there's no local proximity. We don't type in near me. The search engine doesn't understand that.
Right.
And so doing a data dump into the algorithm for small businesses to be found and building that out was part of that. And you could see that the small business was going to be left behind. So when you have a view of technology and innovation that says whatever that snapshot is today, that it's not going to be that tomorrow, then you start to understand you have to build in agility. And for so many businesses, they need help with that.
Right.
So we're starting RevLocal. I'm going to businesses having conversations about, you understand that this thing, the internet's not going to go away, right?
Right.
And your yellow pages, when's the last time you heard of yellow pages?
Well, the industry I'm in, some people still use them, but
are you kidding me?
No, for real. We'll talk about that offline, but you're correct though. They're obsolete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a book show up last year in the mail, and my kids are like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah.
You can't click on it. You can't speak to it. It has no reviews. You can't see video in it. And so you think about the transition that's happening.
Yeah.
The digital transition was so incredible to be a part of the first stage of that. And so RevLocal was born, where we created marketing services to help the small business grow and scale.
And then you grew that company.
Yeah.
With your team.
Yeah.
And then sold the company.
Sold the company.
Do you mind if publicly you want to share how much you sold it for or no?
It's out there. And
yeah.
Bibeau is bought the company. I think RevLocal probably was the third largest digital marketing agency. Bibeau might have been the second or one or two. And so But yeah, you start to dream about what else you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
So you sell the company, and now how old are you about this point?
So this was just a couple of years ago. So I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, RevLocal. I was with there 14 years.
Oh, so I didn't realize that. So you were with.
Yeah.
So you.
You grew up from 0 to 500 employees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fun times.
Yeah,
went
real
through
fun.
Went through the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was great.
He's just smiling. He likes cars too. We'll talk about that after.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's your biggest learning experience with your team over 14 years that you can tell someone?
Well, I think
in the business side.
Well, the most rewarding thing is when you see something in somebody that they can't see in themselves, and you start to lay an environment by which that they can become a greater version of themselves because of business and the platform of being an entrepreneur. And to see that come to fruition and watch people step into that is the most rewarding thing that you can do. And then also from a client perspective, to watch businesses grow and scale because of what you're doing, that is such a charge. And that's what I do I wake up to do that, just to help businesses get to a further point of their existence, have a greater value, and unlock that. And then, the impact of that to the kids, to the families, to the lives of these people. Business is that platform by which that we can do that I am charged by.
Yeah, I can tell. I can see it in your eyes. It's
exciting.
You love it.
I do.
So you sell the business, and did you start Infinite X CXO then, or was that another business you were already?
No, it started pretty much right after that.
Okay.
But I was looking at three things, and I was trying to figure out.
Because at this point you can retire if you chose to.
I don't know that I could ever use those words.
Right.
But, yeah.
How about this? Let me rephrase that question. On paper,
yes.
If someone was looking at it,
yeah.
they could say he could retire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're a person that's why you're on the show. Everyday GSD stands for get shit done.
Yeah.
Because we always want to do more.
Can't stop.
Right. Because that's it. It's in us.
Yeah.
It's like that's how we're either born that way or we've learned it somewhere down the road. But everyone has a different story. But at the end of the day, you complete one task, you're ready for the next one. You're already working on another one.
Well, it's no different than what I can tell is in you. I'm obsessed with creating value. And business awards me that platform to do that at a scale that feeds me. I've tried, I flipped homes for fun.
Right.
And I just to walk into a house and see what nobody else could see, turn it around. I wasn't doing it for money. I was just doing it because I'm obsessed with creating value.
Right.
Right. I went to an auction one time. This was crazy. So the Kentucky Derby was just a couple weeks ago, right? And I remember I got my girls dressed. I have 3 daughters. And I dressed them up like we were going to the Kentucky Derby. And we went to this house auction just for fun because there's going to be people there. And, in Ohio, the Amish show up. And, there's this massive crowd. And I'm teaching my girls about an auction. And this house needed a ton of work. And the auctioneer starts. And he's like, who gives, $45,000? And I told my girls, I'm like, hey, we're gonna play this. Like, I want you to raise your hand. And we're going to start, and then just look at me and say, I'll tell you when to not. So my middle daughter, she raised her hand now.
And how old is she?
Oh, at the time, maybe 5.
Okay.
I mean, they were
like
so, and they got the hats on like they're.
Yeah.
I'm like, we are a spectacle at this auction,
Yeah.
right? The Amish in the Amish buggy's like, who are these people? So she raised her hand at 45,000. We win the house at 45,000. Nobody else bid. I could not. They were so enamored with how we looked, and they didn't want to go against.
They didn't want to bid against.
They didn't want to bid against her. I'm like, this is the strategy of life. My girls are an asset. So we win this house, and now we're like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And so we
throw a couple bucks in it,
we flipped it, and like, wow, this is fun.
Did you share the money with the kids? You're like, yeah, I pay for all this shit. Yeah.
Man, every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. They're so expensive.
So you I got all kinds of fun questions that I won't ask. So do you want to talk about how you sold Infinite?
Yeah. So
CXO to Loud, or do you want to tell me more before that?
Real quick, Infinite CXO.
Well, take your time.
You're looking at how do I disrupt a marketplace and industry, and you try to reverse engineer what is current, and you aspire.
This is Infinite CXO.
Yeah, this is how Infinite CXO is.
And
started.
tell me about what the company is too, please.
So Infinite CXO is really business transformation, but we're leveraging talent that's on the sideline of former C-suites that are just like us,
Right?
GSD,
Right.
but they've had successful exits. They don't know what they want to do. They want freedom. And so I was enamored by the fractional C-suite world. So there's fractional CMOs and I'm studying that. I'm studying consulting because I had worked with McKinsey in the past, and I recognized like businesses really need somebody to come in and help execute rather than to tell them all the things that are wrong. And then there was this business coaching, CEO coaching world in which friends that I went to college with are now CEO coaches, but they'd never run a business. And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, how can I be disruptive and create what inevitably is a home of wisdom?
Right.
Right. So can I convince former C-suites to come work with me in a team dynamic where we're stronger than the solopreneur? And can we create value so that we can go into businesses and help them scale and grow through the wisdom that we have?
Right.
And are they attracted to that?
And do they want it?
Do they want it? Right. And so the explosion that is happening in businesses that are needing execution power, having been kind of at the North Star of where that business aspires to go, what is it worth to that business to have somebody that's been through all of those growth stages and to come back to where they're at now and say, I'm prepackaged with the pain, the successes, how we do that. And it was wildly successful in its approach, and businesses aspired and needed it. And so
there's a huge need for it. And it's when you start talking about fractional CFO, fractional COO,
right,
and you have that that person that you can basically rely on to show you the way, because that individual's already done it successfully. Most of the companies, right? Because you just mentioned you're trying to make sure you're hiring people that have actually done it.
Right.
They've put in the work already.
Mm-hmm.
So that the knowledge, it's better than college.
Oh, well, yeah, those experiences mean what to the business?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing that you find with so many business owners when you get to the heart of acquiring trust.
Right.
What are their fears? What are they afraid of? Most of them have never done this before.
Right.
And as you become successful, your fears actually sometimes grow because you have an imposter syndrome.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with that.
Right.
Right. I've never done this before. Can I be honest about that? Does it make me, will people not follow me if they know, like at every growth stage of 5 million, 10 million, and 25 million, 50 million, I have to be a different version of myself.
Right.
What does it mean to the business to have somebody that's already been there and then has the humility and has a founder's mentality to be able to roll their sleeves up and get in that business and help?
Right.
I mean, when I interview C-suites, that's the number one thing that I'm looking for. So many have been perch sitters, and they just want to point and have everybody else do the work.
Right.
Businesses can't afford for that now.
No.
So, yeah, that's what we're looking for.
They're too top heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you place these people, individuals that you've handpicked that are working on your team, and they're going in and they're helping businesses grow.
Yep.
And so at what point do you decide that you want to get involved with Loud and then or co-found Loud?
Yeah. So what are the other things that we need to be more successful? Because I love to think big and say, if I'm doing one thing well, what would add to that so that I could 1 + 1 = 11? And so Dr. Naveen and I started having a conversation. The portfolio companies of Loud Capital are starting to use Infinite CXO. And, he's the founder of Offer Health, and they needed a CFO. And so we had one of our CFOs go into Offer Health, and he just felt immediately like, this is different. This is not just one person. This is an entire team.
Right.
And the value of immediately rising tide lifts all boats, they feel that. And he and I are going to dinner on Friday nights, and we're basically just starting the question, what could we do?
How do we do this?
How do we do this together?
Right.
Because I'm getting the businesses that need capital. and throughout the growth stages. That's a part of that process. They don't know who to trust, and the capital markets don't have a lot of heart. And here's Naveen and Loud Capital, they lead with heart, and I love that.
Right.
So we just start to envision what is this ecosystem of need. And again, you just reverse engineer, you think backwards, you don't follow the current of thought because everybody else is just like, it's just going in some direction. You go the opposite direction. You say, what does a business actually need? Number one, they need to find a partner they can trust.
Yeah.
That is the hardest thing for them to do.
That's the biggest one.
Right. Because they're taken advantage of so much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about these stats, I was just reading this the other day, 98% of businesses don't know what they're worth.
I believe that.
I read that and I'm startled by that.
Yeah, I think there's a misinterpretation of what people think the business is worth, but both directions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't know about 98%. That's a real stat you just read.
It's real. Yeah.
I mean, but I guess I don't know if I would have thought it was that high.
So let me give you another.
Yeah. Maybe I don't think I would have.
Let me give you another stat.
Because I have to retract what I said, because I said that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, I guess 98%, that does surprise me.
It's big.
That's huge.
So now add this. 75% of baby boomer businesses are going to change hands in the next 5 years, which tells you that there's an event coming in their life. And that high of percentages don't know what they're worth. They're going to be taken advantage of because there's so many bad people in the ecosystem of business and capital. They're looking for that guy. I am in a race against time to get to them, to help them to, number one, maximize the value that they have because they've earned it.
Right.
Building a business is hard, and the pain and the heart that you have to put in. And I love that story. Like that's Trailer Park Aaron,
right,
coming back out saying, I got to get to you and help you. And so building that ecosystem of value, if they're going to change hands and there's going to be an exit, how do they maximize that moment in time? They're worth it.
Right.
Right. So that's the number one thing I want to help with. And building building that ecosystem of value is part of that.
But how do you explain to someone, let's say they've got we'll say 50 employees,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they've run the company from the beginning, and they're pretty confident they know what they're doing at this point, right? But they want to sell. How are they being convinced by you that the company's worth 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times EBITDA, as opposed to someone else like a bank or someone coming in and saying, this is what you're worth?
Yeah. So that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I went searching for the technology because at my heart, scale has to leverage technology these days.
Right.
And so I went searching for the technology through an assessment and through some kind of business platform that would help to tell that story, make it tangible for that business owner. Because now I'm doing it successfully through people. I have these former executives. I'm sitting at the table, and we're here to help. But the pushback is always, well, how do I see that? How do I look at the analytics? How do I create data around that? And that's how I met Kyle.
Right.
And so what I saw him being able to do was to sit a business on a technology and a storytelling mechanism that captured today and what you can be worth tomorrow. And then the delta or the variance between that starts to spit out, these are the initiatives that you need to undertake to get there. And here's what each one of them is worth if you accomplish that. And you see the business owner's mindset just shift. And like, okay, now I got the execution power.
Right.
But this is that technology that I need to cross that divide. And it's amazing to see them unlock, oh my gosh, this is what my company could be worth. Yeah.
If you do this and this and this.
Let's execute it.
And this is Loud Collective.
That's Loud Collective. So,
right.
So Loud Collective, Loud Capital buys Infinite CXO.
Okay.
And this is that conversation at many dinners with Naveen. What can we do together? How do we shape this? There's a lot of whiteboarding and thinking and chewing on this. And so Loud Capital buys Infinite CXO, and we create Loud Collective. And I love the word collective because it makes so much sense to a business. Like we have this ecosystem
collective
of value.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you have this need, we have it. If you have this need, we have it. But then we knew we wanted to acquire that technology that Kyle had
Right.
in his business and really take it to the next level, because it's the scalable technology that is needed.
And because you mentioned this earlier, and this is what's happening now, right? Technology changes.
Right.
You know, Google wasn't going, or the internet wasn't going away.
It's
right?
not.
You know, and it's not going to now. And it goes back to where we're at now with AI.
I could talk about it all day long.
Well, we can talk about it for a little bit if you want. We got a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always, you know, it's like AI is one of those things. It's like when we were talking about 20 years ago about the internet, but now we're in a different functioning world of technology.
Right.
And so, like, where is AI in your business? And if it's not, are you falling behind?
Right. So that's the starting point of the question that leads you to a mindset of a business owner. And you think about these aha moments that you try to create for them. If somebody wants to talk AI and all that comes out of them is how that robots are going to take over the world.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if that happens, you and I are going to be in the same place. I'm not going to waste motion thinking about that. I need to know how to leverage AI for you to be competitive today,
Right.
and sustainable for tomorrow.
Right.
And if your doomsday scenario happens, then we'll be both in the same place,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
And if they give that to you, like, whoa, we really got to reshape your mindset.
Right.
And I think AI, there's so much news around it and the negativity of it. I'm just looking to go again. I go against the current. How do I find value for that and leverage AI in all the ways possible? And the beauty of this, and I've been talking to a lot of my friends about this in technology. The future of AI is that it makes the right people even more valuable. So
That's pretty solid right there.
it is. So people are saying
The future
okay,
of AI.
it makes the right people more valuable,
Yeah.
right? So we hear, oh, AI is going to take all these jobs. Well, yeah, but you don't have to be one of them.
Yeah.
Right? Don't let it just happen.
Yeah.
So the right people become more valuable in the business structure because of AI. And I want to be a part of that delivery to the business systems so that they see that, right? You think, robotics in manufacturing is going to happen whether we like it or not, because it works. But the right person in that business is now more valuable than ever because of the leveraging of technology.
Yeah, and it depends on how big or how you want to scale your company, right? If you're happy being a $5 million company and you're not trying to get to 10 million, but you're just trying to get more profitable, then you get more efficient. To get more profitable, you need to be more efficient. But eventually, you've got to invest more technology, and then you have more overhead. So then you need more sales. So then you're directing your path to need to be a $10 million company to support the growth that you just did. Because now that you're using the technology, your business is now snowballing, like the ball going down the hill at a high rate. And you're like, my snowball's getting bigger and bigger, which is a good thing, because no one's fighting growth. People fight change.
Right.
But when they see the growth in the company, it puts a smile on their face. People don't like change, but when change just has to happen and it's forced on them, and growth is a byproduct of that, no one complains.
Right. So now put yourself in
Right.
in the capital markets. So whether you're PE, your venture capital, your family office, or your high net worth individual that's wanting to invest in businesses, and you know that what you just said you're looking for, because that mindset is what allows change to happen faster, right? The speed to value is often the mindset of the leadership.
Right.
And so what if I could give you a login to the system that showed the progression of that business from the value when we started to the value that they are now, the initiatives that drove that change, and what we believe that they can get to. We create competition in the capital markets for the good of that business.
Right.
Right? It becomes an instantaneous data room.
Yeah, you're creating a need for the buyers.
Correct.
Or a want.
Right. Well, what do they want?
Right.
The investment wants de-risked, the likelihood of a greater return. And so then for the business itself, we start to curate a narrative that is authentic and shows progression, so that the capital markets can start to be competitive towards the opportunity of those businesses to have sustainable growth. Right. So that's what I'm after to do. And you experience that through your growth stages, right? Because every business has an end game in mind, or they have, they should.
They should.
Right. They should.
Tell me every business should.
Right.
They should.
Well, if that's conversation one, we got to start there.
Yeah.
Right?
We're going to say we have to start over.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you think about going back to those statistics,
98% and 75%.
Yeah.
98% of people don't know what the business is worth, and 75% are going to retire or be leaving it to the next generation.
Right.
So I wasn't talking to the microphone on that.
So here's a third stat: $14 trillion is going to transact in the next 10 years, versus $8 trillion a decade ago. We don't have the infrastructure to handle that, and people will be involved.
Right.
So I want to play in that with heart. When I get to a business, and this is why I love working with Naveen and Kyle, this is why I love the team that we've assembled, the culture that we have. We're going to go climb the hill with people. Like this is the war games.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to charge them up and say, what hill are we climbing today?
Right.
What is our mission? And in growth, there's nothing more fun than inspiring people to do something that they didn't believe they could do. And when you do it, they want more.
So how does your company, so you go in, you find this company that's interested in, they obviously have the aptitude and the fortitude to move the needle with you, they're accepting support. They're accepting help, right?
Well, that itself is a qualifier for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
It has to be.
I can't fix everybody.
Yeah. And you can't fix stupid.
No. Or
I don't like that saying, but I say it all the time because it's true.
And you see it.
You see it. And when you see it, you're just like,
no. And it's wrapped in ego and pride.
yeah.
Right. And you're like, this business could be 3 times more valuable if that guy would get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope that in my life and in my mind, that I'm always of a growth mindset and an abundance mindset that says I have to challenge myself to not be that. Because there's points in my life where I was that, right? And so you just continue to progress. And when you get to those businesses that are blocking that, you're like, I don't have the time to try to change.
Or the energy.
No, it's like they've made their mind up. We're looking for businesses that deserve that next level of value.
And so then how does your company make money? It's when they sell, or is it it's a residual money coming in?
Yeah, they're paying for the value of the services.
Right.
And it's a 10x multiplier. We want it to be that way. You take the fractionals, right? This person would normally cost $350,000 as a full-time person, and you can acquire them for $10,000, $15,000 a month in a fractional way. Their intelligence makes a significant difference in the business.
Right.
And the next thing you know is they say, hey, that CFO that you brought, you got a CMO? Yeah, we got that. And we're actually talking to private equity right now in which that they have business ideas and concepts from founders that they're interested in potentially putting in our entire business structure where we are the team. Like there's like
you actually are the team.
There's
no team to go in there and fix or help. You actually are the team.
We are the team.
Yeah.
The old way of doing business is changing so fast.
Yeah. At a rapid pace.
Yeah. Speed to value, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So what's the next steps for you?
Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're moving quickly.
Yeah.
So a lot of this has happened in like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, in live time.
Yeah. We're here at your studio and things are happening just right now. So
yeah, I love it.
I think
how do people know? Well, I guess this is probably it might be a loaded question because you don't know what you don't know. But
try me.
Well, no, not you. No, I'm saying, but you know what I mean. You don't know what you don't know. How do people know that they even need this?
Oh.
Right? You know what I mean? So someone that sits back that has a business is like, yeah, I know, I wish I could do this, but I don't know what I need. So I don't know I need this service or this opportunity or this partnership. So how do they end up knowing? At what point are these businesses being referred to you guys and you go out and sit down with them, or how is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So there are repetitive pain points in business. They don't change. The solutions may change or the speed at which that we implement them, but we're looking for people that have identified or are open to the conversation of how do I, right? If I can get somebody to be forward thinking and say, how do I? Because I can remember back as we were growing RevLocal and the other business I'm a part of, you start to say, well, how we hit the wall at 10 million in growth. How do we get over that? How do we solve this problem? How do we look at our future? How do we complete these initiatives? Because there's problems in every growing business.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah. And so we have partners. Wealth managers are great because they have access to the businesses and they know. Accounting firms are great because they know when they've hit the wall. Banks that are lending the money. Institutional VC has been great partners for us. But my goal is to build a direct sales army. At RevLocal, that was one of the most challenging and rewarding pieces. We had 250 salespeople in the market, 37 major U.S. cities, that every day had legitimate face-to-face conversations. It's relational.
Right.
Right? I tell people all the time, like AI has been great to create jobs. Well, we don't hear about that, but AI still needs a consultative approach to understand it.
Yeah.
And so creating, strategic growth advisors that are having these conversations, helping to lead the business, doing it with heart and passion.
Right.
I think that it's something that needs to be talked about. Well, podcasts.
Yeah.
Right. Where we're talking about these things. I need this help. Who do I trust? And so,
Right.
so I would say Loud Collective is in the business of acquiring trust. That's what I'm passionate about solving.
Yeah, because once you acquire their trust, then they acquire your support.
Mm-hmm.
Then you acquire their business.
Mm-hmm.
And then together, the business grows and is successful and sells. And then it goes back to what we talked about in the last episode. Win, win, win.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. Well, and you see seeing the emotion of that when you look into the heart and soul of a business owner who's reached a place they didn't know was possible.
Right.
And the lives that have been impacted, and you see literal tears come out of them, and they say, thank you. I'm ready to go to war every day for people like that.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
So what's a sweet spot company? $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million company?
Yeah, I would say lower to middle market, so it'd be $5 million and up. I mean, we do go below that in certain aspects where they really have unique opportunities to grow. Doing a lot in healthcare. That's really exciting landscape in healthcare.
Yeah.
Health tech. We're doing some work.
Is that partially because of your partner being a former, well, he's not a former doctor. He's still a doctor.
He is,
Previous episode.
Yeah, Loud Capital's history is predominantly in healthcare. And then I think there is an appetite, a thirst for business acumen to be implemented in the healthcare opportunities. So you meet a lot of really intelligent people who are great at the discipline of whatever their healthcare, specialty is. But when it comes to creating a business application out of an opportunity, they need help. And so I see the healthcare industry coming from the technology space. I'm really attracted to healthcare because a lot of the same disciplines of growing a business apply, but there's a need for help there. So health tech is also one. Technology is obviously good. Manufacturing coming from the Rolls-Royce days. You know, there's immense amount of opportunity with that.
The manufacturing's fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and you get to hard-working people.
Yeah,
my like I have such a
even the laziest worker's a hard worker.
Wow, I know. So, well, one of my first experiences at the manufacturing facility. So my dad and my grandpa worked there, right? And my grandpa's brother. So it's like the family institute of how we had food put on the table. And here's this 18-year-old son that went from summer help to now he's in the accounting department wearing a white shirt. How did I raise this kid? Like,
where did we go wrong?
Hey, there's a union and I'm wearing the white shirt. What happened? It's his mother's kid.
It's his mother's kid.
He's special.
Yeah.
And, you're walking out there, but Fred Moen was just an incredible guy, but he was a supervisor And, I was crazy. Like I would work, I would just give me everything. So they came to me, I'm doing cost accounting and bill of materials. And they said, hey, Fred just found out he has cancer and we need help. Would you be willing to work a second shift and take his job as a supervisor? I'm 18 years old.
Whoa.
And I'm like, yeah, let's rock.
Yeah, let's go.
So they gave me, I don't know, it's like these testing grounds in your life. You look back, you're like, what was I thinking? How in the world did I accomplish that? But it was the largest.
You rolled up your sleeves and you did it.
I did it, but I got through by getting to know people. And I learned, like, it wasn't about my age. It was about listening.
Business is about being in the people business.
If it's not, I don't want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
AI and technology are table stakes. People are the difference makers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great statement right there.
Well, people think it's like, well, they think that AI is a difference maker. No, that's table stakes now. You got it. You don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
Technology, you got to adopt it. But they had 20 people on this production line, and I'm walking out there, like I'm doing this in the face of
18 years old.
Face of my family. And Greg Brandstuhl, I grew up with it. Like, he remembers when I was in diapers, friends with my dad. He's on this, and there's just this protectionism, but they're busting my chops, and they're, And I went to Greg after work, and I said, Greg, I really want to do something special. Like, how can we break the production record? And he says, I don't know what the production record is. I said, I'm going to go find out what the production record is. And I come out there and I yanked this like old whiteboard out and I put it in front of the line and I wrote like 1,720.
Right.
Right. And they're like, what is that number? I'm like, that's how many minutes you have to be alive. No, it's like that's the most that this line has ever produced in its history in a single day. And we're running 2 shifts. Right. And so I wrote that down, and by creating a baseline and sharing that and communicating that as to that, I'm like, what do we need to do so that we can hit that number every day and we can beat it tomorrow?
Yeah.
And they came to me and they said, that guy needs removed from the line. It's that simple? Yeah. Remember, I'm in a union shop.
Yeah.
There's rules.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So I take this guy off the line. I put somebody else in. We did 1,970 the next day.
900 more units.
It would be a 200, 17 something and then 19.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we beat the record.
Yeah.
The next day because I removed one person.
Having the right people in the right seat.
Right. I then get a call from the plant manager because the union steward is complaining because that guy has seniority over everybody else. And at 18 years old, I learned about all of the blocks that can happen in the production and efficiency of a company by rules that exist.
Yeah.
And so big argument happens, and so they're like, he has to be on the line. Okay, so then I'm thinking, how can I put him on the line
where he's not in the way?
Yeah. Right? So check this out. I said to the team in front of this guy, he's on the line, but I need somebody to step up and do your job and his job because I'm asking him not to work today. We took him off the line. And I think it was Greg. He says, I'll do my job and his job, and we're hitting 2,000. And we hit it. We hit it by simply removing the guy. He's sitting there and does nothing all day, and we hit the record.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's
dead weight.
That exists everywhere.
Oh, my God. In every company.
Well, and I mean, in military
life.
applications, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to do this together, we have to have rallying points, and everybody has to pull their weight. So, fun memories.
Yeah. I love it.
What were we talking about?
That's exactly what we're talking about. So you've got a bunch of awards you've won. Do you want to talk about any of those?
I did. It's the people around me.
Okay.
I think the one that I'm most proud of was the top 50 places to work by Inc. magazine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because of the people and my day starts with searching for somebody that I can say this one question to. How may I serve you today? And when I learned the beauty of that and being real and authentic and searching, and I would start my day by leaving my president's office, and I would go and I would walk the floor, and I'd simply ask people, how may I serve you today? And what I found from that was, a willingness to share.
Right.
Like a lot of the R&D of the things that we were working on came from people saying, if you could do this one thing for me. But then you get into the personal lives and you meet people.
Right.
And, one day I was talking to Sean, and Sean was a newer IT guy that was working for our developers. And he was, I was like, what's the one thing that I can do to serve you today? And he's like, I don't think you can help me. Like, try me.
You're like, challenge accepted.
Right. Come to find out, he has a blind daughter, and she was being picked on in high school. And I'm like, tell me about this girl. And so he's telling me, and I'm like, I couldn't help it, man. I was crying.
Yeah.
Like this beautiful young girl, and here comes Trailer Park Aaron.
Yeah.
Like we got to do something for this girl. Like I need to help her. I need to help her. So I find out that this girl has perfect pitch and plays the piano. And so we took a camera crew, some guys that worked for us in the media department. We waited for her to get off the bus, and we started to build a story around her. And here's this guy in the company. He has his daughter, and I invited her to come in for one of our meetings. And we had people all across the country.
And how old is she about? High school?
15.
Yeah,
16,
okay, yeah.
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah, vulnerable age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, why are your coworkers here at work? And why are they asking me these questions?
Right.
And so we sat down, and I wanted to hear her play, and we're recording all this because I wanted to celebrate the families of the people that worked with us. And like, again, I come back to the simple question.
Yeah, how can I serve you?
How can I serve you today?
Right.
And here I am creating the story around her, and we invited her in to work, and we allowed her to share a song. And there's people that are there in the office, they're listening, and
right.
And she sings for us Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Not a dry eye in the place. Unbelievable. Blind daughter of Sean.
Watery eyes back here already.
Yeah. So Sean is just touched by the willingness, and
but you asked the question.
Right.
You were able to ask the question and figure out how you were able to serve.
Yeah. So her dream was to get a pair of Apple headsets, right?
Right.
Because she's in love with music,
and
and so we pulled together and we bought her those. And the people that are crying because she's singing, and she didn't have any idea like the impact that she was making. And we gave her this gift, and then she starts crying because we were able to give back to her. From that, we were able to make some contacts with some people, and she was able to sing in front of a lot of people.
That's awesome.
And it changed her life. And
you changed her father's life too.
Yeah, because you care.
Yeah.
When you embed that into culture, it becomes an essence of the business. And I look for businesses that have that in their brand. And I look for it in owners that have it in their heart.
Right.
Because there's unique ways that you can amplify that to help a business grow. And as we go in through Loud Collective and we grow those companies, that's one of the ways that we really change their landscape. And I think that people that are looking to buy businesses today, I mean, you think about the 75% of baby boomer business is going to change hands. How do you get great value? You have great people. If I'm going to buy a company and I'm going to expect it to grow, I need to know that what I'm about to do, it can be leveraged off of the heart and soul of people. I mean, one of the clients that we've been starting working with, that Kyle's been doing a masterful job with, is Lexington Vet. And I went down to Raleigh, North Carolina, and met these guys. Oh my gosh, what an amazing place. And you have these two ladies that have been there 29 years, and they're like, what is this whole thing? Are you going to change our life? And what change are you going to bring? And don't move my cheese. And right. Are we selling? What's going on here? And I was sitting around the table with the owners and the doctors, and they were in the room, and I simply asked them a question. I said, what would it mean to you if 2 years from now your business was worth double what it is? And every single one of them thought about the lives that would be changed by that.
Yeah.
And those emotional launching points matter to the essence of a business. It's more than black and white. And that's where, the disdain that I have for people that live in spreadsheets is that they miss the levers that really make a business go.
100%.
Right. If I show you my watch and I say most businesses, they watch the front. There's two arms that are moving, and how do we do that? But if I open up the back, what will you find? There's gears connected.
Yeah. It's how it all operates.
That's where we want to live.
Yeah.
Because there's so much low-hanging fruit.
What a great analogy. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm gonna give you credit for it, but I'm gonna use it.
That's how you bend time.
Yeah.
Right? Is you understand the levers. You understand how the gears move.
Yeah.
A lot of times businesses think, well, if I could change this one gear, right? It's always marketing, sales. We need more marketing to sales. Well, yeah, but if you change that, how will it change the dynamics of everything else? And then they shipwreck.
Right.
Right. You got to really understand how those things collaborate and grow together. And almost always it's people involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're business is being in the people business.
It is where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's once you realize that in your company. Well, I mean, you guys are different. You've built companies, sold them, and now you're in a different type of company. You're more helping these companies, but you're still running a business.
Right.
You still have to do the same things that you did in your businesses prior that were the successful things, and bringing the right people, like someone like Kyle and the team that you're developing. It's about getting those right people that fit your core values and your mission that can go into now a company and build trust. Mm-hmm. And then when they build that trust, they understand and they know you're there to help them as a collective.
Right. Yeah.
Loud collective. See what I did there, guys?
Wow.
Yeah.
I need a commercial with you.
We've been at this about an hour. I've got a couple questions from the audience that's not for me, but I'm going to read those to you. But before I jump into those, and then I got a little gift for you as we wrap it up.
Wow.
But is there anything that you'd like to mention in the business world or the personal world, or just in anything, a statement or an everyday GSD message that you want to share with the audience that, they're gonna listen and go, yeah, I'm glad I tuned in. I mean, you've said so much good things, but
as I mature and I think about who I am in this now, it's easy to look back. And I was having a conversation yesterday, and I said, what would this version of you say to the version of you 10 years ago? Mm. And that's an easy answer. But the hard one is to go out 10 years from who you are now and have that person speak to who you are today. What do I need to do? And how can I be in an environment, and who can I put around me in my life that progresses me to a version that I'm not, so that that version can speak to who I am today? And when you unlock that and you spend time in that, you're always able to grow. And the answer that I always come back to is, it's not about what I can accomplish. It's about what we can accomplish. Therefore, the people that I have in my life and the people that I'm around are my guardrails. And I am capable of doing a lot of damage. And I'm capable of making a lot of bad mistakes. And I'm capable of not liking the results of what I create. But when I am motivated in the dynamic of team, that's like, I love the military mindset and the special forces, and I can't get enough of the stories of the camaraderie and the brotherhood and what it takes to take on a mission. We're going to do this because I find that charge in business and the people around me. And so if I was to say, Aaron today was to speak to the Aaron of tomorrow, what would he say? And it's always about surround yourself with people you care about and go do hard things together.
And go do hard things together.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Like at this point in life, I mean, you're no different, right? Yeah. Like what hard thing are we going to do today?
Right.
And And when you have success, and this comes back to the Rolls-Royce days, I can't imagine being alone and celebrating.
Yeah.
And I watch so many business owners, they dismantle every relationship around them, and they get to this place where they're lonely.
Yeah.
There's no success in that.
Nope.
But man, when you do it as a team, it's life changing. Like if we were all in this room, if everybody's to say, what are your favorite memories? How many of them are you alone?
None.
Zero. So then why are we competitive in that landscape? I want to win with people and teams, right?
1,000%.
No.
Well said.
Thank you.
Okay, a couple questions from the audience.
Yes.
Okay, I've not read these. Okay, let me see. You've built award-winning teams and been recognized as one of the top executives in Columbus. What do you think most leaders get wrong about building culture and retaining talent? I think that's pretty much been answered. Surround yourself with the right people and build a team.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to use personality as a strategy. And so when the pandemic hit, I knew like this is serious. How do we leverage culture, personality? We created a band at work, and we started. We created a set. I had the Grady Boggs Ranch. We had sit downs, but then we took requests, and we would do little, Nirvana ditties, and I would change the words. This is before AI, by the way. So I didn't have Chat GPT to use these words. I wish I did, but you leverage personality, and then you say, what are the characteristics by which that people will be inspired and follow you? Right? Authenticity is obviously one, clear communication. But then, there's an essence, a charisma, a personality that people are looking for and they're hungry for today.
Right.
I mean, the generation that's coming up, they don't know how to communicate with each other because they've been birthed by a screen.
Right.
That can't continue. We are relational by nature. And so leveraging that, people are inspired by those things.
I love it. I'm reading a couple more questions here. I like I got a marriage question, but I'm going to save that one for the last one. Which one, Justin, do you like? Which one do you like best right now? I'm going to ask one more, and then I'm going to ask number 5. Because they're all good.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave.
The difficult thing about him is we never know what he's going to talk about before we get them. So I think the one he hasn't answered yet the most is probably number 4. But
okay,
I'll do number 4. Yeah.
So I'll do number 4, and then I'll close out with number 5 because I already.
Oh no, you did number 4. I mean,
oh.
I like the one about the National Humor Award because he didn't really talk much about that.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2. You were a finalist for the National Humor Award alongside executives from Google and Duke. How has humor and optimism become a leadership superpower for you, especially during high-stress moments?
Yeah, because people aren't used to it anymore.
Yeah, that's it. That's the answer. It's literally that simple because people aren't used to it anymore. And people are so afraid to use humor because in the workplace because they're also afraid they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. Mm-hmm. And obviously you have to use humor in the right way and use your personality in the right way. There's definitely lines you don't want to cross, but at the same time there's so many people they're just afraid, so they just don't do it. And they just come in and just
Let me ask you a question.
That's not how this show works,
I know.
brother.
Just one time.
We'll see. We'll
One
see.
time. What is a smile worth to you some
For-
days?
For me, it's priceless.
What is being able to laugh in certain moments?
Priceless.
Why?
Because it gives you it's so positive. It's so good feeling, and it's contagious. If I walk into a room and everyone's got a frown upside down, and I come in smiling, and I make a statement to them, hey, like, what's going on? Why is everyone so sad? Like, smile. It's a great day. It's beautiful. It's sunny. You have a good job. What's going on? And then all of a sudden someone starts laughing because they think it's funny. Then 2 people start laughing. Then there's
Right.
another smile.
Contagious.
It's contagious, man. It really is. I used to get in trouble when I was a kid. My mom would get calls, and they said, he's always smiling. My mom was like, he's never going to stop. She's like, he's in class, and he's smiling. Like, he's up to something. She's like, he's not up to anything. He's happy.
Yeah.
Leave the kid alone.
Yeah.
They would tell me they would. I would literally get in trouble as a kid. Your son's, and I'd goof off as a kid too. Let's not kid ourselves, right? It wasn't. But at the end of the day, my mom would get calls and said he's always smiling. I have a teacher, Mrs. Pisha, 4th grade teacher. She wrote a letter to my mom, and she wrote in the letter, "Don't let anyone stop him from smiling."
Right.
It's a longer letter than that, but she was the only teacher that stuck up for me. To my mom.
What is your contribution to the world when you offer a smile and laughter?
Happiness.
And we need it more than
we
ever.
need it. We need it. We need it. We always need it.
You
We
go
always need it.
go to an airport and just watch.
Oh, we fly all the time, and you'll be surprised. Even like the bartenders and the servers that we meet they start off unhappy, but the time we leave, they can't. When are you flying back? There's one. I won't name the restaurant because I don't want to give a shout out to a restaurant. There's one place that we fly out of Indianapolis. The servers and the bartenders, when we walk in, literally come in and hug us.
How many places are there to fly out of Indianapolis, by the way?
The airport, you mean?
Yeah.
It's one airport. Well,
Okay.
I mean the main airport.
I was thinking there's 3. I'm like, did I miss something?
No. I'm talking about specific restaurants.
okay.
But I mean, literally they come around the bar and give us a hug. The other day that he was flying with another one of my coworkers and part of the team, and they asked, they're like, "Where's Darin?" This is at an airport,
Right.
But actually, we can give a shout out to the restaurant because they're
Oh yeah.
they're a sponsor of one of our projects.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay,
let's
yeah.
definitely give them a shout out.
Oh yeah, because it's called Harry and Izzy's. It's at the airport. They also own 1933 and St. Elmo's.
Hughes Culinary Group.
Yeah, Hughes Culinary Group. They're an amazing restaurant. They just
Yeah.
opened a new place in Carmel. They do a great job. There's so many good restaurants around here, but these guys are just they treat customers like family.
Right. Right.
And literally, when I tell you, can you imagine going to an airport when the bartender or the server comes up and gives you a hug and asks you if your wife's flying with you and she knows your name?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, this doesn't happen anymore.
Right. Right.
It just doesn't happen.
No.
And this happens all the time here.
I was in an airport recently. I'm trying to remember which one. I think it might have been Tampa. And I was sitting, and I had a great day. I was smiling. I was thinking about something. I was laughing out loud. I was not on my phone.
Yeah.
Right. And I had this lady. I'm gonna guess that she was 90. Had this dress on, and she came and she sat next to me, and she said, "I have to know, why are you smiling?"
Yeah.
And you think at 90, she was asking, "Can I have some of what you have?"
Yeah.
You stand out.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Because you're smiling, you stand out.
That's the world that we.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about, and we
especially when you talk about the airport, people are it brings out the worst of people.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't even know why. I'm sitting next to I was waiting for my flight. It got delayed. I was delayed like 5 hours. Who cares? I'm going to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And this people next to me were so upset. They're being rude to the bartender. They probably already yelled at the flight attendant or the gate agent. And finally I said, "Hey, can I buy you guys a drink?" Because clearly you're having a bad day. Like, yeah, our flight's delayed an hour. We're not going to get home till midnight now. I'm like, hopefully you get home safely though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your plane didn't just crash.
Yeah. Get over it.
Yeah, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, another question, and this will be the last one.
Yep.
On top of everything, you've got a 22-year. I said that wrong. On top of everything, you've got a 22-year marriage and 3 daughters. How do you balance growth? Sorry, how do you balance growing a company with staying grounded as a husband and a dad?
Yeah. It's hard.
It's tough, right?
It is. I think the greatest failures in my life are when you look back and you have regret that, I was thinking about this the other day, Darin. When you're young and you have all of this wisdom around you and they come up to you and they say, your kids are going to grow up faster and it's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with that.
Right.
Right? Like you got this 1-year-old and they just become mobile. And you're like, okay, you don't have the context to say she's going to be 18 tomorrow. But they were so right.
Like that, right? I don't have children, but I see it.
Well, my middle was graduating.
Yeah.
And next week.
Yeah.
And I like yesterday, man.
Yeah.
She was this baby. And then, I never would have guessed that I would be the father of 3 daughters. Right? They are so expensive. And they're all different.
Yeah.
Which is the fun part.
Great.
But
Right.
you start to mature through your experiences. And as a father of 3 daughters, I come to these expression moments by saying that, who I was for you then is not who I need to be for you now.
Right.
And I remember when Rachel, my oldest, she turned 18, and I started something early on in their lives where I called them daddy dates, and it was this, just opportunity to be present.
Yeah.
Because they sacrificed so much for me.
Yeah.
When you build a business and they see you pour your heart and soul into bad times, man, they're there. And they hurt too.
Yeah.
And these are my little girls, So I had daddy dates and I was present, and I have these, they're the greatest memories for them. But when they became teenagers, I would fly them anywhere they want to go, and it was the ultimate daddy date. And they're becoming teenagers, and so I would want them to put a PowerPoint presentation together and present to me
Where they want to go.
where they want to go. And they had, so I'm teaching them entrepreneurial skills. I gotta put that in anyway, right? And so they put PowerPoint presentations together, and then they get to pick where we go. And I teach them a lot of things as they become teenagers, and we have these fond memories of that. And I look back and I wish that I would have done more of that. Because now Rachel's 20, Natalie's 18, and she's graduating. Ellie is going to go car shopping here next week. At one point, I had 3 teenage daughters for 2 years. Like, you talk about a character builder. Right. But I was having this conversation with Rachel after she turned 18, and I said, I am transitioning in your life to an advisor now.
Right.
Right. And I don't want to do anything that causes you to feel like you can't ever come talk to me.
Right.
And I aspire to that relationship. But I go back to when I'm failing at that, and we're all capable of that because of the demands, and super accountable, right? But there's the law of trade-offs. John Maxwell talks about this in his book, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And when you say yes to something, you're not saying yes to other things. And so there's only so much of you.
Right.
And you give yourself to those things that you tell yourself the story that this is so important. And something else is traded off.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I look backwards and I say, I wish that I would have, created more experiences and moments that they would talk about like the ones that I created.
But you're doing them now.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying, man.
And that's the everyday GSD way, right? You can't look back and be like, you know what?
Yeah.
You can't live in the past. You got to look at the future.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes, learn from the past, and grow from it, and continue being a good human.
That's it.
That's it,
and,
baby.
and get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah.
All right, I have a little shirt for you, a little
Awesome.
everyday GSD shirt. We'll take some pictures in a minute. But
Great.
again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know you guys made it in from Ohio, and you got a bunch of stuff to do while you're here.
Yeah,
Buckeyes.
we have a gift for you too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have a gift for you too, Darin. Tomorrow, Loud Collective announces the acquisition of Max Value Advisors at the Indy Motor Speedway, and we have 2 tickets for you and Jonica to join us in the suite tomorrow.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome.
Cars,
You're
man.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Cars. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Next one. All right. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.